Representative Gabrielle Giffords is breathing on her own in her third day of recovery. Giffords suffered a gunshot wound to the head during Saturday's mass shooting in Arizona. Dr. Peter Ostro is here tonight with a closer look at her condition and what lies ahead for her.
The news about Representative Giffords was as good as you could hope for today.
I'm happy to say that she's holding her own. This is the same as it was yesterday. She's still following those simple commands. We've been able to back off on some of that sedation. And in fact, she's able to generate her own breaths. She's breathing on her own.
That is a hopeful sign, but experts in brain injury know there are still some big hurdles.
Perhaps a little bit of holding my breath to see just exactly what happens. With a gunshot wound like that, survival's the key issue, and if they think she will survive, then there is a lot of reason for optimism.
She had good, quick medical care and a somewhat lucky location of the wound. The bullet entered the back of the head on the left side, passed all the way through, and came out the forehead. A trajectory like that could actually miss almost all the vital structures and blood vessels. But the damage caused by the bullet would lead to swelling, and the pressure of a swollen brain inside the rigid skull could make things much worse. So a portion of the skull was removed to relieve that pressure. Here you can see the absence of a portion of skull in a similar patient. The remaining brain will be able to take over for some damaged areas.
We call it plasticity, the plasticity of the brain, the ability of the brain to adapt to loss.
But there almost certainly won't be complete recovery.
The reality will be she will have deficits. And as she begins to identify those deficits, she will have some emotional reactions to that, but she will also learn to compensate for those deficits, which is what I think good rehab is all about.
But rehab is still a long way off. You know, after the brain is damaged, the swelling continues for several days, and the injured area gradually returns to its previous size. So we should be very pleased that only 3 days after the shooting, she's holding her own and even improving slightly.
I think the medical community, all of us are watching this with great interest and hope for her. But the medical community is really interested in this as well, right?
Right. She's been very lucky. You know, taking the part of the skull off to relieve the pressure is the thing that prevents more of the brain from being damaged.
Right.
And they actually will leave it off for months.
Okay, so it'll be a while before they put it back on. Then.
The brain heals better without it for quite a while.
One more thing I want to ask you is, because of where this bullet went, can doctors guess at what deficits she might have? You
know, you can usually make a pretty good guess because the functions of the body are very well represented geographically in the brain, and so a lesion in the brain in a particular place causes a particular deficit. Usually you can, but sometimes you get fooled. Sometimes there's not as much as you would predict, and that appears to be what's happening with her.
Okay, and of course we're all watching and waiting. Thank you so much, Doctor. We appreciate it.